Okay, I see we're now being recorded. Good evening, commissioners and members of the ANC Zoning Committee. My name is Meredith Moldenhauer. I am zoning counsel from Cozen O'Connor here for the applicant for BZA case 21292. I'm joined by a representative from the applicant and operators team who will be happy to introduce himself and answer questions. I'll first kind of walk through a little bit about the project. So as you can see here, the property is located on Moore Street. It is proposed to be located in two separate record lots. They are located in the PDR1 zone. As you can see also from this image, there is an alley that separates it from property that fronts on Florida Avenue. Here you can see the two properties, 405 and 407 Moore Street. You can see them kind of identified and kind of in this breakout of the red and the blue from both the front on your left hand side and the rear of those properties on the right hand side. The proposed use will be a entertainment event space and music venue. The proposal would be to have the two separate structures joined and have openings and penetrations through the party wall to create one venue with an open floor plan. The proposed use would take place fully within the building. There would be no restaurant, no food or dining proposed, and this would be a venue location where individuals, it's not an establishment that would be open, every, Thursday through Sunday at a certain time. It would only be open, for specific events as events are booked and identified. So here is one of the questions we had, I think, at the last meeting last month was kind of what is this going to look like from the alley? And so the intent is to have all of the access for this use in the alley, off of the alley. And so there would be kind of classic kind of old lighting signage that would be by lit up from specific small designed lights, and then we would have access. There would be murals on the wall with minor downlighting to remove any potential glare, but obviously this is on the first floor along the alley currently, so this would be a great improvement to provide that access here with some art and design on the exterior facade. This is the existing layout. You can also see here in the rear, the stair access. This is going to be the stair access. The proposed use would not obviously have anything located on the first floor. On the second floor, it would be an open layout with the DJ booth located in the center, restrooms in the rear, and a bar. The DJ booth would be located in the center for potentially opportunities for music and venues that would then pull any music away from the exterior or the abutting side property walls. Here is a rendering of what the interior of the space would look like for an opportunity to kind of provide a great an open layout, open opportunity for events. Here's another rendering of what the appearance would look like with the structure. Our proposal is here before you tonight because we are seeking a BZA relief, both from the special exception relief, which would permit a assembly and entertainment use in the PDR1 zone. We believe that this is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zone. Special exception use is deemed to be appropriate in the zone. And we also think that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan as well as surrounding uses. The relief would not tend to adversely affect uses of neighboring properties, given that the properties are abutting uses that would be closed actually during the time in which this establishment would be open, and also that it is separated from an alley from any other type of uses. We don't believe this would have any adverse impact, but would actually provide a benefit to provide a continued mix of uses in the Union Market area to provide lively streetscape and services in the area. The proposed use complies with the specific subconditions, including that we've kind of analyzed and looked at, that there would be no objectionable aspect of the project in regards to noise, traffic, parking, or loading. Noise and loading is not required for this project, and also would be minimal and would be able to be accessed through the alley. More street features, a variety of retail and other dining uses. So this use obviously would be separate and apart from those uses, not detracting from those, but actually complementing them. Properties buffered from residential uses, from the street and alleys. Extensive sound mitigation measures are also proposed and taking place. We'll kind of identify those on the next page. The property does not abut any residential use or residential zone. Just to elaborate on some of the sound management items, there's going to be soundproofing from the interior that will include the use of a floating floor, which will reduce vibration and transmittal. Doors and windows will have solid core doors, weather stripping, and additional glazing to reduce sound. The entryway is designed to include a sound box vestibule, which is a double door system to prevent sound from escaping as patrons are either entering or exiting. The speaker placement and sound system design is also specifically located to be in the center of the room, not on the walls, and to keep the sound contained. The zoning and volume control obviously will also provide additional opportunities to localize the music and to maintain it as such. Additionally, operation policies, there'll be sound checks and additional education and review of sound volumes that based on DC requirements are reviewed with anybody that comes in and desires to use the space. In addition to the requirements, we've already mentioned there are additional few more special exception condition requirements. The property not be located within 1,000 feet of another live performance nightclub or venue. Here we've done our own research and confirmed that we were not. But then when we were at the meeting last month, we realized that there was another project that was going forward, BZA case number 21279. So we will have to actually ask for variance relief from this because of the unique situation that application is currently pending. Even though it's not approved yet, we think it's prudent to request the relief. And we also believe that, we satisfy that requirement. We'll go through that in a moment. External performances, there will be no proposed external performances or external amplification. BZA may also impose any other requirements as needed. As I said, we will be seeking a variance from the fact that there will potentially be, if the BZA approves the other case, within 1,000 feet, but we believe that we do satisfy the requirements. The exceptional unique condition, the fact that we didn't even know about that when we applied for this application, and that they actually will still be pending and maybe potentially not even obtained their approval yet. In addition to that, the proposed use is very different. They are a restaurant right now that will be providing, regular service and regular opportunities. This will obviously only be open, for specific events, when the facility is booked. And we believe that it does show practical difficulty, and we don't believe that there would be any adverse impact to the integrity purpose of the zone plan based on this proposed variance approval. And so based on that, I can stop sharing my screen and we would be available to answer any questions. As I did indicate, one of the operators is here with us as a co-applicant, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Moldenhauer. A lot of information there that we needed. Quick questions from me in terms of that variance. When would you all be able to get that situated? I think the commission wouldn't be able to have a vote on this item due to that exact issue right there.
I mean, we're asking for it, so we will be filing a supplemental pre-hearing statement into the record tomorrow,
Okay.
which will include that relief. And so, obviously, if this subcommittee supports it, you would have all the proper documentation before the ANC for your full vote.
Understood. And in terms of the entrance to this location, is there a reason why it's being moved to the rear instead of the other side of the street?
Think it was always intended to be from the rear, providing, a separate access from the commercial establishment that has the front access. Because maintaining, obviously, if you had to share that, you would be detracting from the ability to have a separate tenant that has the front access on the ground floor. And we want to obviously maintain that and not take away from that. Opportunity on the front floor, on the first floor retail space, and so by utilizing the rear access, one, you're creating, I think, a better opportunity to kind of pull people away from, maybe where, there might be other people, waiting and standing on the sidewalk, and, putting it into the alley, which is a better location. But you're also then, improving and maintaining the opportunity for, that ground floor retail to have, a desirable access.
The reason I question the alley is because currently the alley is a big dumping zone for Union Market. There's a lot of legal dumping there consistently. I see it every week and it doesn't really change. So how is that going to impact this potential business opening up with having that access to the rear?
If I may jump here, and thank you for that question. And very bluntly, I've seen the illegal dumping that happens there, and we've been doing our best with the construction crew that we have on site to make sure that we clean after us every day. Plus, we've been cleaning after others, and there's two plans right there to address it. Number one, have some light in the back because, as you know, it's a really dark alley. So maybe lighting it up will put some pressure on people that are doing illegal dumping, as well as installing some cameras across the facility. That's one. Two is making sure that our staff is responsible for taking it out. I mean, whether it's our trash or others, it's still a responsibility of the neighborhood. So we do want to maintain the cleanliness. And then the idea of the alley on top of everything that Meredith has mentioned, as you know, it's been like a nice thing in the Union Market District that a lot of things are popping up in the alley. And I think this has been kind of a nice thing that's happening from Minetta Tavern to La Shukran, opening up an entrance in the alley. So hopefully reviving some sort of entrances from the alley is going to help reduce the illegal dumping that's happening in the back while we have our staff that are there during the day and during the night as well.
For the presentation for the public, can we get confirmation of where you installed those cameras?
Yes, for sure. And I can assure you that today we were doing some sort of construction on the lower level, and we had a break-in that happened from the alley. They broke the alley door, went in, stole equipment, and we've already installed cameras on the inside that are connected to MPD, which we plan on making sure that we install on the exterior of the building.
Okay.
That is a
So
contract that's already been signed.
you might have shared too much information in that because now I want to know what you're going to do for security in terms of this space. So that is definitely going to come up during the public meeting and it can fail this project if we don't have that proper information in terms of how you're going to keep that space secure. Since currently this kind of foot traffic of lively, engaged folks that are going to be interested in entertainment is not coming on that block or that alley at this point in time, but will. So that's a lot of different kind of actors. So we just want to make sure you're also keeping people safe there. So that's definitely going to come up at the public meeting. But those were my questions. Thank you so much. I think the presentation was great. I'll give Skip Keats opportunity to ask questions because you had your hand up raised and this then Commissioner Rhodes. You're muted, Skip.
Hi, I have a couple questions. The first question has been answered. I thought you had said it was on the alley. So my first real question is, your plans showed first and second floor. Your space is entirely on the second floor across two buildings?
Correct. It's
Correct.
entirely on the second floor. Yes. We're only showing the first floor because that's where the stairs are located in order to show how people are accessing.
Ah, okay. You may want to put something in the diagram that highlights where the stairs are. So, a different color code or something, Because the way I saw that and read it was a two-story entity.
We'll clarify that. Thank you very much.
The second one is, as you're going to be on an alley, Minetta Tavern, went there with a couple friends. Oh, this was a few months back. And we had trouble finding it. There's no signage. Are you guys going to put up some signs so people can find you? With you being on the alley, that is unusual right now.
Correct. I mean, it's definitely going to be an educational couple weeks up front where people might pull up to the front side and we're going to have to direct them. So partly what we're planning on doing is mainly having one security person that's on the front side that's educating people that the entrance is from the alley.
Okay, what I was thinking was, would you be putting up any signage to, like a big arrow or saying blah 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 is this way or anything
For
like
sure,
that?
on the front of the building, because as people pull up, whether they're pulling up in their Ubers or they're pulling up with their cars, they're checking it. We're gonna have to have some sort of sign on our frontage.
Well, does the alley allow traffic?
It's a public alley, so the public alley allows any pedestrian or use of the public alley.
What I was thinking is the Uber may very well try to come down that alley if the entrance is on the alley. So if you want that, that's fine. If not, you're going to have to inform Uber and some et cetera that they can only be dropped off at the mouth of the alley or something of that ilk.
For sure.
Hopefully
And I
they'll
think we
address
can do
those
that.
traffic concerns when we ask for their
Yep.
security plan.
Those are my questions.
Because that's a serious concern. Just again, activating an alley that hasn't been activated before like this, it's gonna be a headache for us in the long run if we don't get on this now. Commissioner Rhodes?
Thanks. Was Meredith, the building was where the DHS meeting was? Is that the location?
No, that's not the location. This is about 5 blocks south of where that meeting was held.
Mhm.
That's a different location.
Okay, got you. Got you.
This is
This is
the
much
block
closer.
next to Trader Joe's, no?
Yeah, it's next to Trader Joe's. It's like
You know,
if
the
you,
empty
you know,
lot.
you know where the Marathon gas is?
Mhm.
It's like
Mhm.
between the Trader Joe's and the Marathon gas.
It's
Okay.
across where Pella 22 was, is it not?
But Commissioner,
You are
it's that
correct.
alley is the one that shares with that empty lot in front of Trader
Mhm.
Joe's. That's what
Mhm.
I'm saying. This hasn't been activated.
Okay. So had you
So
all, excuse me?
if you don't mind, so the alley is activated from the other side because La Shukran also uses that alley entrance. The alley that we're speaking about.
Mhm. So the alley is presentable and activated. Is that what you're saying?
So currently we're using the same alley that La Shukran uses for their entrance.
Mm-hmm. But what we're trying to find out is if the alley has illegal dumping, rats running through it, nastiness, are folks going to want to stand in line back there in that alley? And is it going to be safe late at night for not only entering but exiting? That's one thing. Two, the chair spoke about the security plan, which we normally ask for. The security plan, it'll be just for the commissioners, just so that we know that there's a safety procedure put in place. And if the alley is nastiness, have you thought about recreating the alley or making it welcoming, like what something like what Eden's is doing, like brick through the alley, maybe some lights, better lighting, and murals outside? Or is that what you said you was going to do, murals outside? But are you going to do murals in the hall, in the alley,
For
where folks
sure.
are going to be standing?
So maybe to go back to the security concern, I want to make sure that we address this because the security concern that you guys have all, and I do appreciate it, is going to be a concern to us because the only way that we get business is that making sure that we have safety around. So if we do not comply with any safety regulations, the business is going to get killed before anything happens, right? So to address that, and maybe I wasn't clear, there's three things that we intend on doing for security. Number one is definitely installation of cameras. Number two is definitely installation of lights, which we're more than happy to sign on any paperwork that says that so that you guys are assured. And number three, we would never be open with no security. So at the entrances and through the alley, through the corners, through the front side, we will always have security staff that's licensed, that's on premise until the last employee leaves the building. Not just the last customer, but the last employee walks out.
We
That's
understand you, but we deal with a lot of businesses, and you'd be
correct.
surprised. Some of the businesses have either one security guard or no security guards, one camera, and there's been issues, and it falls back on us. So we're making sure any business that's opening up have a proper security plan and have submitted it with
For
the other
sure.
information,
For
okay?
sure. We're more than happy to submit the security plan, but what we usually do is we have one security person per 30 people that we are expecting in any of our venues. So, and that's separate than the security that's outside. So we will also have security inside premise as well as outside. And we're more than happy to highlight the whole plan on a plan that we can present to you. That's one. The lights will definitely be there. We love the idea of a mural. If we go back to the rendering, we were showing some lights in a mural. I think that's going to activate the alley further as well. And hopefully that foot traffic, the murals that we get in, the lights, security being present as well, helps with the illegal dumping that's happening.
And with the illegal dumping, have you all or anyone in the area put in 311 requests? And if so, have you all reached out to DPW with the 311 request? And with how many people are expected to be at the establishment? Like, what's the capacity?
So to answer the 311 questions, I haven't put any 311 requests, but if you go there during the day, at any time, you will see that we clean up that alley ourselves during the day. So we have taken the responsibility of cleaning it just because we feel the responsibility of this being around us. So we've taken the responsibility and the pleasure of cleaning the alley for the past couple of weeks since we were present on the job site. That's one. But I think moving forward, we should be reporting the 311 so that we raise a flag. But our team usually doesn't wait on someone, but we have this thing going where we clean it ourselves, and I think that makes things move quicker. That's one.
Do you do you just put in a
Exactly.
request so that,
Exactly.
like you said, the flag
Would-
will be up? Mhm.
I agree with you. So moving forward, I'll make sure that my team is making sure that they raise the flag to 311 as they continue cleaning it and
Mhm.
taking responsibility of it. For the occupancy, I think anywhere between 150 to 200 a night during an event is what we're looking for.
And what are the days of what are the days that it's open? Is it Thursday through Sunday?
No, it's not consistent. It's based on events that we are hosting.
Ah, okay.
There,
Okay.
there will be no like specific hours of operation. It's not like a restaurant and it's not like a bar or a lounge. It's only an event venue where, when somebody's interested in renting out the space, it would then be opened for that specific event.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Commissioner.
Just to follow up with the references with La Shukran, if you go on Google Maps, it's not showing any of what you're referencing, or at least anything that I think would reference an entrance in an alley. So if you could just make sure if you're going to reference them, just to include photos of what you're talking about, because we can't pull it up right now online.
For sure.
Commissioner McCray, you had a question?
Yes, yes. Hey, everyone. Um, so just a question, and sorry if I missed it. Because I also pulled it up on Google Maps, and just looking at the location being across from Pallet 22, is this going to take away from any of the parking that is along the backside at all?
No, this won't. There's no the rear alley does not have any parking along the alley. And so this would not take away from any parking.
Okay. 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 And I guess another question, I know you said it's going to be an event space, um, and kind of in line with kind of a security plan, let's say like are you going to be in contact with kind of like Pallet 22 and the owners there just to ensure that like I don't know. I think of an accumulation of folks in one
Mhm.
space, one time. It's just a lot of people. I guess is there in line with that? I would just want to see kind of a security style of a plan just to kind of understand if there are multiple events. The Union Market tends to have a lot of things happening all at once. Just kind of understanding what would be kind of a contingency plan if something were to like occur, right? I just look at how close in proximity a few different BZA cases have come up lately into each other, and they're very close. And um, I'm definitely like I like an event space, right? But I just want to make sure that folks are safe. So I would just really, really, really want to see that security plan just for the safety of folks in the area. Um and also just kind of like even if it's post vote, I would also like to see kind of some type of walkthrough just to ensure the sound, because this is more going towards the neighborhood a little bit, making sure the sound just doesn't protrude. And I know you all said there was kind of a sound barrier that would be installed, but just ensuring that folks wouldn't necessarily be harmed by the sound, if that makes sense. But those are just some of the items that came up for me.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, we'll put together the written security plan and email that out to the ANC commissioners prior to your full ANC meeting. And we'd also be happy to, host a walkthrough of the space, before it opens.
And to
Thank
go
you.
back maybe to the idea of sharing security, which is a great idea. I think here I just like to pinpoint that with security companies, as you know, there's liability and insurance. So most of the times, every venue will have his own security that's hired to make sure that they're covered from a liability perspective with insurance, which we can work with our neighbors to make sure that maybe we all use the same exact company for security.
Great. Commissioner Rhodes, you had another comment or question?
Yes, also, would you be hiring folks from the community um at
Yes,
your
yes, yes, yes.
how would you post that or how would you notify? I'm sorry.
How would you ensure
You
that?
notify folks that there's a job available at your location.
We can usually reach out to, so we can reach out to you guys if you have any recommendations, and we usually post on Indeed and try to find people within. Plus, I'm an active walking person in the neighborhood, so I've always met people around and tried to hire them.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Were there any other questions or comments before you let them go? Okay, I just know that the security concern is something that we want to make sure that we address properly, as well as the any efforts to combat the illegal dumping that Moore Street Alley already faces. Um, to think that there might be a potential with these potential venues popping up on Moore Street, maybe an extra 300 people on a weekend in that area. It's a lot when here in 5D we don't have enough officers to deal with what we got going on. So we just want to make sure that plan is tight. And just to confirm for Ms. Moldenhauer, the ANC public meeting that we have in person at 371 Moore Street, our community room right there in Union Market, it is on Tuesday, May 13th.
Thank you.
So we hope to see you then at that date. please try to give us an update a week or two prior to that date, just so if we have anything loose, we can nip it in the butt before the final presentation to the public. But I think you've addressed all our concerns as of right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for all your time, and we will make sure we address it. Your concern is going to be our concern as well, so we will make sure to address it.
Perfect. Happy to hear. Y'all have a good rest of your night.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have a
so
great
much all for
evening.
your time.
Thank you. Okay, let me see. For the folks still on the call, they are only BZ matter requesting a vote next month. We might have some other matters that Commissioner Rhodes has been addressing regarding New York Avenue, but in regards to the BZA, this is the only one. A small update for the zoning committee. Um, some of you may know or already know that Kevin did step down as co-chair, and Commissioner Arbuckle today also stepped down as zoning chair. So I'll be moderating the meetings and asking for some more assistance from maybe even Skip Keats, who's been a very loyal member of the committee. I see one of my neighbors, Jenna, also on the Zoom. So we would
Happy
love
to
to
help.
have some more folks step up and get this committee a little more organized for the public. I'll be bringing in Andy to help us, our administrative assistant, to help us a little bit more. So looking forward to beef up this committee some. But we're actually going to be doing a small transition from Kevin to me in the upcoming weeks. So hopefully we'll have a proper update come May.
A quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
The Google group seems to have gone down that had records of all the prior stuff on it.
It shouldn't be down. Did you email it or like what did you
I
get that
tried to access the website directly. I have a bookmark for it, and
uh
it's saying the group is unavailable.
okay. I'll look into that. I don't know if Kevin paused it of
But
some kind because I know I
maybe,
used the email listserv a few weeks ago, or was it last week accidentally I used it to set up a meeting and it worked. So I know that at least the email is working, but I'll confirm the account.
okay, because it has a lot of records on it, which technically would be public records.
Perfect.
So I'm just concerned about that because that's where
We
we
don't want to
post
lose it.
information. We do not want to lose it. And it's where we post stuff about upcoming BZA so everybody can go and investigate them or on the committee. So we're familiar before the meeting with what has been proposed at least. And that's for me, that's critical because I will look through all the stuff on Scout and everything else, trying to figure out what's going on, what it's like now, etc., and what issues may be posed. For example, if the building next door has solar panels and they're going above it to block the solar panels.
No, those are important things to always note and always be ahead of the game for. Kevin was pretty good at that stuff, so I'm happy that you're also on top of that as well.
But if I don't know what's coming, I have no way of knowing what to look for.
That's one thing I'm going to be requesting our administrative assistant to help us with, just to make sure we're on top of that.
I have a issue, Skip, that maybe you can try to help us with. So
Okay.
the flood that Douglas is proposing, which they did a presentation for the 5C committee, I'll email you the BZA, the zoning case number.
Okay. 5Z is across New York Avenue, isn't
It
it?
is. It
That's what
is.
I thought. Okay.
It is. That's the one with Darlene Oliver and VJ and Harry Thomas. And the PUD is supposed to be in the area in like our commission's budget, but Douglas is proposing to put a warehouse, like 11 to 16 acre warehouse.
Oh my
They got that
God.
much land over there?
I
Yeah,
have
and
definite
so
problems with that.
exactly.
A lot of
Exactly.
land.
And the New York Avenue Vision Framework work, as you know, is supposed to be housing and
And
more
community stuff.
exactly. So I'm not sure if okay, so we need to VJ was saying that we need to file a form 140 or something so that we can be a party to it.
Mhm.
So
I
5D
haven't
can
heard of
be
that form before, but send me the information. I'll see what I can
Okay.
find out.
Okay.
Kevin, I can probably ask Kevin if he's heard of that form, and if so, where to find it. My
Okay.
betting is it's at
Well,
the
I
zoning
have the
board.
link for the form, so
Oh, you do?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna send you that, and then maybe we can chit chat about it because it might be coming up soon. At first, we had some time, and I'm not sure how much time we have,
Yeah. This is
but
one of the issues I have had, and I've spoken to Kevin about it, especially the stuff that's on the borders of the different
yeah,
ANCs. We
mhm,
really need to coordinate better
yeah,
Mhm.
because
yeah,
they will say one thing to one side and something
Mhm.
else to the others.
mhm.
And the truth is usually a third thing entirely.
Well, what happened was, Commissioner at the time, Commissioner Manning and some other commissioners have voted for the project because of a CBA that was proposed. And when I asked what was the CBA, can't nobody produce it. So we need to, if we're going to ask for a CBA, we gotta get on top of
Mhm.
this whole issue and figure out what our community benefits agreement is going to be. That's if
Oh,
he does it.
gotcha. Oh, one other thing. Commissioner
Mhm.
Sassid, when you talk to Kevin, he was
Mhm.
compiling a list of bad actors.
Okay.
Make certain, because I don't think that was in the repository. I think that was still amongst his notes.
Okay.
We
Okay.
were working on it together. We were trying to build a thing where buildings have been abandoned, half built,
Mhm.
and things like that. I personally think the city needs to crack down on that type of stuff.
Mhm.
And the only way for that to happen is to produce a lot of evidence saying that they have a problem.
If
Okay.
I can add to that, um, a few residents in my area, just condo development has not been of the best.
Caliber?
Um, um, it has not. Most of us have had to sue our developers. Um, and I live in a condo as well. So it is an ongoing concern. And I don't
Going to be
know.
suing our developer because the soundproofing in my building is not up to standard. And
Yeah,
there's other issues in the building.
it's like the same folks are building more.
They're
And I
building
don't
a 41
understand.
unit, they're building a 41 unit building, same developer, right behind us. It's going to have 41 very small condominia in it.
It is something that I know that folks are very, very concerned about, knowing that, if RFK gets money, that money is going to trickle over here somehow to Heck and Jamal and to other
Mhm.
parts of 5D.
Mhm.
And we know that that is going to lead to more issues with these same developers getting contracts and doing similar bad shoddy work. We just know it's going to happen in that way. So it is a concern I know of a lot of like minds.
Look,
Quick question.
can we try to find out from Kevin what is the proper square footage of a unit with a one bedroom, a unit with two bedrooms, a unit with three bedrooms? Because we went over that one time before about that Gallaudet development that Rebecca had got through and passed, but. And then it's some buildings. I think it's up by you, Commissioner McCray, or was it up by
I think
uh
you're referencing the really small units that were
yeah,
built
the
over
ones they
there
was
near
like
the other
10 square
Arboretum
feet.
entrance.
Mm-hmm.
They were like 300 square feet or something studios, but
Like
I think we got them up
really
some to like
That's
four
not
disrespectful.
even a
something.
hotel room.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
gosh, not need
Yeah,
to
it
think that.
there
yeah.
has to be some type of standard. I know folks are interested in kind of alleyway houses, stuff like that, but I think too you have to, like, when I think of this area, I think of it's a family area. So when you have these smaller areas, how are people supposed to live with a family? And it's
Mhm.
there is a space that matters.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, my building, the units are actually big for compared to what they've been building. My building's about 5 years old. Most of the units in this building are much bigger than what they're building now. And honestly, of course, I grew up in a relatively large house. To me, my condo still seems a bit small, even though it's 1,400 square feet.
Oh,
But
wow.
the ones, huh?
I said, oh, wow.
But the ones going up in the building behind us, they can't be more than 500 square feet each.
Mm.
I mean, it's glorified hotel rooms. I
Some
mean,
people's closets are bigger than that.
exactly. I mean, I was looking at going up until it reached past where I am. And if the rooms I think are supposed to be the bedrooms are what I think they are, my own bed, which is a double, would not fit in those bedrooms.
Mm.
So can we get from Kevin the square footage that's appropriate for a 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, and maybe a studio? Because
I don't know
Jenna,
if
do
the
you have
city,
any insight on that? Because you're an
Yeah,
architect, ain't you?
yeah, I'm an architect
oh,
and I don't do housing.
Oh, okay,
But
gotcha.
there is a difference between like what is legal and what
Hmm.
is enjoyable.
oh
And
yes,
you know,
there's
as
a
long as it
big
meets their
difference.
housing act requirements, like it kind of is what it is, and I'm not sure what you can do about it. But to the point about a studio and a 1 bedroom versus like a 3 or 4 bedroom, that is a very real difference and real concern of the neighborhood for sure.
yeah, especially when, because we're finding that a lot of the developers are turning dens into 1 bedroom to a bedroom. And
Yeah,
it's
I
supposed to
had a
have a
window.
closet and a window, but if it's not the size of an actual room and DOB come in, they will they will shut it down or tell them to change it from a 2 bedroom to a 1 bedroom because that's a den or a
Yep.
closet.
Another thing I've noticed on these plans, and we've tried to caution people over the last couple of years, but because the committee doesn't really have any real authority,
Mm.
the ANC doesn't have absolute authority either. Some of the floor plans are completely illogical for actual really being able to use them, where they have things essentially the kitchen, living room, dining room isn't even big enough for a decent sized table.
Mm.
And they're claiming these are 1 bedrooms. They may be, but there's a building behind each place that I briefly got in because I was asking questions about it. It looks like they're finally going to finish the building.
Mm.
But the only way they're going to be able to have a table in there is if the table's essentially attached to the wall and
Mm.
folds down for use. Otherwise, there's not enough space in the theoretical living room / dining room kitchen.
That's like a bed that folds up.
But those are
And
things
Yeah,
that we
and the
can.
bedroom probably would need a Murphy bed.
Those are definitely things that we can stop from going through, at least just not support it. Because I mean, my building that I live in, I rent here, but it wasn't they didn't ask for a special exception, so they just redeveloped it. It's a 2 bedroom, 2 bath with one closet. Only one closet in this whole sucker. Actually, I think I'm the only one that had the actual closet in the 4 unit building. And it's like, and I remember when I moved in, I was like, where am I gonna put my like linens and like my broom? And I'm just like, those things, these art, some folks, they when they're developing these spaces, they don't think about those things. And
Yes,
it's
there's a lot
like,
of things they don't think about.
Or they
Another
don't
thing,
care. They don't
they
care.
no,
don't care.
well,
They'll
there's
figure it
That's
out. That's what they'll say. They'll figure it out.
and there's another thing which happens because I know this for a fact because it happened in my unit. If you look at the original floor plans, my kitchen is a 90-degree turn from the way it was originally supposed to be. And I think that might be part of why there's soundproofing issues
Mm.
because the kitchen was supposed to be against the wall that goes to the next unit, but they turned it 90 degrees, which is great in one way. But if they had it designed the way it was originally, I'd be able to open the refrigerator fully.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
because they turned it 90 degrees
Mm.
and left the refrigerator in the same location, it now hits, one door hits the wall instead of, if they put it to the other end of the kitchen where my pantry is,
Mhm.
my refrigerator would be able to fully open.
See,
These
that's where
are
you messed
things
up, Skip. I would have walked into that kitchen
I know.
first thing and checked that door. I'll be like,
I
I'm gonna be
did,
open
but
out of all
it
the
dawned
doors.
on me.
The front door and that door. I'm opening the most in my home.
Yeah,
Okay.
it didn't register until after I bought the place and moved in.
Oh
But
Yeah.
gosh,
this is something that happens very, very frequently. They
often.
submit one set of plans, but they build to another.
Here's
Well, I do
my
know
And I don't
that
know how that
each
happens
concern.
bedroom
because
is
there's
supposed to be.
inspections. Like,
But
who's inspecting? I don't know.
I think part of it
them
is
accountable. Where's the
Yeah.
oversight?
I
Oh
think part
no.
of it is that DC relies so heavily on
Yeah.
third party
Yeah.
types who are frequently in the pay of the developer,
Yeah.
not the city. And I
Yeah.
think that's part of the problem. But you end up with things like the Green Monster, which they now have partially, they've ripped the siding off and you can see all the woods. But that disaster, there's one up, Miss Commissioner McRae, I think it's your district. The building that now has the dogs things on its doors and whatnot on the first floor. It's the corner of, I think it would be 18th and K, where just above Maryland Avenue.
It is so bad. The windows aren't even straight on it. Are you
Oh,
talking about the one
okay.
where the windows aren't straight?
It may be, it looks from a distance, looks like it's partially finished or mostly finished exterior wise, but they've put these dog things over all the DAWGs I'm talking
Mm.
about.
Oh,
It's
yeah, yeah.
an acronym. I don't know. I haven't been able to, there don't seem to be any permits on the building. I walk by there. I vary my walk every day when I go out. And there used to be permits. I don't know what's happened, but I have a bad feeling it's yet another building that is built sort of, but not complete. And it's just sitting there and it's going to molder. That's bad for property values. That is bad for the housing issues we have in the area. I could go on, but I think you get my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we need to continue to do, like Kevin was doing, was the 30 minutes before the actual zoning meeting.
We put together our questions and everything, prep for it.
It's a prep meeting. And I think it's a good idea to continue with that, start that 30 minutes before the meeting. And I know we're busy, but that helps us prepare for what the developers are talking about.
Yes,
And have our questions, and we can already look at the plans and blah, blah, blah. One.
And then
Two.
no, I was gonna say, just based on what you just said, Commissioner, I would recommend just like maybe a 1 day how zoning summit just on 5D for residents. Just we all just come in,
Yeah.
just come to an agreement on certain things. Like I think I've heard a lot of residents say, why doesn't 5D have like a standard for like inclusionary housing or the like certain percentages that we always kind of get
technically
thrown
do,
at.
but
We're
there's
not
no.
Well, that's what Kevin was doing. It's like a certain percentage of IZ, certain percentage of 1, 2, 3 bedrooms and affordable market rate and all that. It is a standard, but if everybody is not willing to go along with with those type of standards, like affordable housing standards, and people are into this market rate deal, it's going to be a battle, and it's going to cause us to bicker in public meetings. So we do need to have a standard and come to agreement that there's supposed to be a certain amount of percentage of 1, 2, 3 bedrooms, family units, and deeply affordable, then go up to like 50% AMI, 60% AMI, 80% AMI. All of that should be mapped out and should be the standard for the commission. That's what Kevin was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm so upset that he's gone, because
Yeah,
he knew about all of that.
Another thing he did, and I would try to do it too. If I had enough leeway time on it, I would go over and walk over and take a look at where this thing was going. But he would try to orient everybody in the prep meeting to where these properties were in which neighborhood and everything. So if it was on Staples Street, he would give us a view of what it looks like now.
Yep.
So we're familiar, so we can discuss the roof lines, for example. If you have a run of row homes and this thing's going to pop it up 2 stories,
Mhm.
it will destroy the roof line. Look,
So there's something called GPS or GIS or something, and you can have a slider so you can see how it looks now, and then slide the little thing over and see how it looks when it's
yeah.
done.
Another thing Kevin had, and this may be something the ANC may need to purchase.
Mm.
He had, I don't know what the application was called. He had software, has software that allowed him to basically create approximations of shadow
Oh.
for buildings and things. A lot of the developers would not have those studies, or they would have studies that were fudged.
Mm.
And Kevin would say, well, mine says this. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, no, but it does. And, he would make a very good case that their numbers were wrong. And almost always he was right.
Because he
But I
would
don't know the
actually
software
go
he would.
to the site. He would
Mhm.
actually go there and look at these different how the sun
Yep.
is, or knock on the door if somebody feel like their solar is going to be covered up. Because he came out here a couple times and I didn't even know he did it. So he was going over and beyond
Right.
to make sure.
And that is, if we want to get things, if we want to have nice things, should we say, well, that's what we're going to do. Otherwise, the developers are going to do what they want, and we may not like the results.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not. So if you can find it when you talk to Kevin, Skip, can you find out what that app
I
is?
will try to get it down of him. And Chairman Sosita Guzman,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you may ask him as well, because I don't know how much it costs. It may be open source. If it's open source, we're fine and good. But my betting is it's not open source software. So it may be something that that the ANC may need to buy.
Okay.
It might be something that, I mean, he was an Apple person like I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what computers the ANC has, if there's Windows or if they're Macs, but they may need to get that software, and it maybe have to be a duty of, I remember there are two people now working for the ANC, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of them may need to be trained in running those perspective things, unless you want to share the software out.
Mm.
If you get multiple licenses, then several of us could help out with it. But if it's a licensed thing, I mean, I'm still job hunting, so I don't have money for it right now.
Mm-hmm. No. We have the money for it. We have the money for it.
No, I'm just saying that we
The
may
sooner we
need to
know what
buy
it
that
is,
type of stuff.
yeah, the sooner as we know what it is, we can actually just vote to make the purchase.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking it may be wise. We can talk about other software he may have for assessment purposes, but we may want to do an investment of that so
Okay.
that we can make our own judgments before they start talking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so
Okay.
formulate our questions that they have to answer, like you were doing earlier about the security and everything. It's similar, especially when it comes to the housing in already built neighborhoods. We've had too many things here where they pop up 2 stories up, they damage the roofs on either side. They abandoned, there's one like that on 20th Street. I think is it 20th? It's 20th, I think. Over near where Sidell Moore's house is.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually 2 on that street. And some of them, they do these double or triple front doors on the front level. It looks hideous.
Mm.
We've allowed a few of them to go through, partly because they had sort of by rights. That's
Mm-hmm.
something we really need to discourage. They need to come up with another way of doing it, be it a vestibule thing where you go in, like some of the apartment buildings have. But those double doors look stupid.
I
And
don't know.
once you've done that, you can't reverse it.
Nope. Nope. And doubt they would. Okay, everyone. It is 8:30.
All right,
Thank you so
so
much for
thank
joining us
you.
tonight. Skip, we might tag you in for that transition meeting, so I might contact you. I'm having issues with my phone. I need to get a new one. The front screen stopped working.
Oh,
And
no.
I can like use my inside little thing, but is I
Oh,
haven't
that's a
had a good.
Samsung?
It's a Samsung, yeah. I haven't had a good 2025 when it comes to my finances, so it's been rough. But we will get that meeting done
Yeah.
soon.
I mean, I've been looking for a steady job for 2 years now.
Oh gosh,
My
Skip.
finances are not good either.
Oh gosh. Well, at least I could say I think I'd have a position somewhere in a private
I was at
company
a
that's
job,
not the
I went to
government.
a job fair in PG County today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, DC doesn't really do job fairs. This is one of the things that irritates me. They don't really do job fairs for anything but blue collar jobs.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're a
you're
white
actually right.
collar worker.
Hmm?
Office.
You a white collar worker.
Oh yeah, web design, IT.
Oh, okay.
They
I've
don't
been a
do those kind of
writer.
job fairs out here like that.
I mean, I used to work for the U.S. Information Agency. One of my positions there was writer editor. I wrote
Why
on
Nice.
you
foreign
didn't
policy
why
and
you
things
didn't run for the position for 5D?
because because the position was already held by someone, and I didn't think it right to deprive them of their job.
You had a social media position
That one
open.
I didn't even hear about. Only the other one that was already full.
Ah, sorry.
We're
I
gonna
send
have
you
you.
some stuff
It
your
was
way.
meant to be. We'll have you where we need you, Skip. We'll have you where we need you. But y'all have a rest of your good rest of your night. I'm sorry, good rest of your night, and we'll make sure to get a proper follow up at the end of this month regarding the zoning committee. But thank
Very
y'all for
good.
joining and bringing in your input.
Thank you
Good
very
night.
much.